What's up guys, it's Logan from Diamond State. I've got another tie-in video for you. Today we're going to be tying a fly that we've all been calling the Afternoon Delight. And it's really just because it's a quick and easy fly. I've been kind of referring to it as a guide fly. You could sit down, you can tie a bunch of these really fast. You can tie them in a variety of colors. And they plain just catch fish. Here we go. All right, to start off with, I've got a size 4 Gamakatsu B10S. I've got some UTC 140 in my bobbin here. I'm just gonna get that thread started and get these tail feathers tied in. So these tail feathers are the Nature Spirit neck hackle. And there's a couple things in this fly that I'm going to do that maybe aren't necessarily textbook, but and this is kind of one of them. Remember I said the point of this fly is to be super quick, be able to fill a box really fast. So I'm not as concerned with how that fly looks as much as I am with how it fishes. So I'm not going to really strip these feathers. I'm just going to tie them in. I'm going to make sure they sit straight. They are. I'm going to cut off that excess and then get all that covered up. All right. Next, this is just an EP craft fur brush. Get this guy tied in towards the back. Now, one of the things with these brushes is that they bulk up really, really fast. And so to kind of avoid that, we're gonna do really loose wraps all the way up to the eye here, making sure that they're spaced out pretty good. So just kind of give that fur a good brush back so it all is sticking out. And nice open wraps all the way to the front. You just really want to avoid this brush from bulking up. These brushes are really nice to tie with because they're quick and easy, but they're really bad about bulking up, so definitely avoid that. But did roughly 3, maybe 4 wraps all the way up to the eye there. And I'm going to tie that off. Take an old pair of scissors, cut that wire. Kind of hold that back. Put a little bit of a thread dam there and tie it off. And that is it for that back hook. Real simple. One last thing I'm going to do to this back hook before I take it out is I'm just going to give it a brush. Kind of grab any of those loose fibers that got stuck down on those wraps. Make sure they're all going back. Take that out and set it to the side for a second. And switch to the next hook, which is a size 2 B10S. Get that thread started. I like to do pretty open wraps on this and then kind of crisscross those wraps back over. Gives that wire something to bite down on as you tie in this articulation wire here in a second. So I've got my wire right on top of the hook shank, tie that guy in. Slide this bead on. This bead I'm using is the MFC teardrop bead. Pretty cool bead. You can get away with using one bead instead of two on some of these flies, which is kind of nice. Not that beads are expensive by any means, but lets me feel like I'm saving a little bit of money. One thing with these teardrop beads that I've noticed is don't pull this wire quite so tight. Leave a little bit of room there. It's going to help that sit straight, and then that teardrop shape is going to help that back hook kind of rock a bit more. So leave just a little bit of extra space there. And get this wire tied in. I'm going to cut this excess off the front. Kind of watch as you're wrapping over the ends of those wires, because it'll cut your thread pretty easily. You just don't want to pull too tight right there. And now you pull really tight, lock all that down. All right, we're gonna go back to this craft fur brush. It's the same brush as before. Tie this guy in. On this front hook, we're gonna make it just a little bulkier than that back hook, just to keep that taper going of the fly. But we still don't wanna wrap that too close. So wrap that guy forward, kind of brushing those fibers out and back as we go. Four or five wraps on this front. Like I said, just a little bit extra bulk than what we had on that back hook, but not a whole lot. And tie that in. Leave just a little bit of room to build that head on the front of this. Hold a pair of scissors. Give this a quick brush before we move on. Make sure when you're tying with these materials, whether it be a brush or just craft fur in general or whatever, brush between each step. But just really make sure that those materials aren't getting caught and they're laying exactly how you want them to on that hook. All right, this next step. Just got some Nature Spirit marabou. Just gonna pull me off a piece. I'm gonna take that tip, I'm gonna pluck that tip off. Just keeps that marabou from looking kind of blocky on that hook. About where the end of that stem ends, from where I just plucked it, I'm gonna take that marabou, set it on top, try to line those tips up with about the front of that back hook, maybe just a little bit past, and tie in. Cut your excess. Clean up the front of this just a hair. And I'm gonna leave that thread right behind that hook eye there, because we are going to build a laser dub head. So just got me some fluorescent blue laser dub here. Kind of going for a cotton candy color on this particular fly, but I tie these flies in a lot of colors. You're basically only limited by the color of brush that you can get, because you can really find laser dub and marabou in just about every color imaginable. So, but EP has plenty of colors available in that brush. Take your laser dub, stack it a couple times, make sure all those fibers are laying even. And right on top of the hook. And I kind of like to fold that over on the side just a hair, so I'm getting lots of coverage there. A couple wraps, I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do the exact same thing with some white laser dub. I like to use just a little bit more than what I think I need for a head. You do need to be careful because you don't want to use too much, but I do like to use a little bit extra because I'm going to brush this out, and a lot of these fibers are going to come out with that brush, and that's okay. That's exactly what we want. Get these stacked so they're all going the same way. And get those tied in. All right, we're almost done. I'm gonna fold this back, kind of hold it in place. Couple wraps right behind the eye of the hook. I'm gonna take my half hitch and finish it. I'll do it one more time for good measure. I broke my thread on that, but that half hitch did get cinched, so it's good. Should be good. All right, I'm gonna give this a quick brush. And we got one more step left, and it's just to glue on some eyes. You can see how much of that laser dub is coming out as I brush. That is why we do a little bit of extra on that. Give that a good brush. And now we're going to glue in these eyes. Use whatever eyes you like. I like these eyes from Fish Skull. I think they just kind of look the best on these laser dub heads. Those guys a good push, make sure they're seated right into that hook shank. And we're going to brush it out one more time. And there we go. That's the afternoon delight. Appreciate you guys watching.